Hello, I'm Doglightning, a Grandmaster NEEKO support one-trick pony, and here's my item guide to the new season. This items just went live a few days ago on the PBE, so it's brand new. I can't do it in practice tool because it's down right now, so I'll just have to go through the items explaining, but we won't actually be able to demonstrate each one. And I hope you enjoy. We'll go through the Mage items, support items, and then the AD items last. So we'll start off. Most of you probably know, but basically there's mythic items now, and you get one of these, and they basically are only allowed one, and then each item you get after gets a bonus depending what mythic item you got. So we'll start off with the mythic items and then go into the legendaries. So in the mythic items, I think there's a couple okay choices. I think for sure my favorite is Proto Belt. I'm a Proto Belt fan in like current league, so I really like it. The only thing I'll say that I don't like about this new Proto Belt, which is going to make a lot of people sad, is the current Proto Belt, how it works on live, is all the bolts can hit multiple targets. So you can Proto Belt into the melees and it instant one-shots the melees with an E. So you can EQ the casters and Proto Belt to insta-clear a wave. The new one, each bolt only applies once. You can't apply with multiples. So basically when you Proto Belt the wave, it doesn't actually clear the melees. So if you EQ the casters and Proto Belt, you're going to have to auto each of the melees like 1 or 2 times to kill it. So that really sucks, but overall I still think it's the best item for NEEKO when you ulti and you use it to like get the extra distance. Another thing that sucks about it is that there's boost speed while running towards enemy champions after you use it, but you use it when you're ulting and you're locked in animation. But I have on live used it to like Proto Belt towards an enemy and catch up to get in range to root and ulti, so there is still uses for NEEKO for that. So that's my favorite item. Obviously, I love it. So my next most favorite item is, I would say, the Liandry's. It's basically the same Liandry's as it is now, except it also has mana. I think this could be an okay item if you are facing a team that's very, very, very tanky. So if they have 3 or more tanks, I think Liandry's is a perfectly acceptable option right now. And then there's 2 versions of Ludens basically. These both basically do the same thing. They give you AP. When you hit the enemy, it does damage, and it gives you move speed, except this one's move speed is only once per champion on a 60-second cooldown each. If you have mana issues, I think Ludens would be better, but I personally kind of like the Night Harvester better because of the fact that it gives HP, and I'm a big fan of getting NEEKO as tanky as possible because of the fact that her playstyle is getting into the enemy's face. HP really goes a long way. So I would probably say I like this better, but Ludens is obviously fine. Still saying Proto Belt is the best, probably in my opinion. And GLP, this is Everfrost, the new GLP. Sorry to tell this to any of you NEEKO mains that are Glacial one-trick ponies, but Glacial is kind of dead. I've tried this item, and it's really, really bad. Basically, right now GLP, it shoots the GLP on a line from far away from you, and it slows instantly, right? You pop and it goes, right? How this one works is when you pop it, it starts at you and it slowly goes away from you. It's like you know Lissandra's E where it has the claw? Basically the center of this thing has the exact same animation of Lissandra's claw. Like I think they just copied it. So it's like that speed going out with the slow. So it's really easy for enemies to avoid. It doesn't feel as much of like a pick and like catch someone out potential item. It feels more of like a disengage item to like stop people from running at you, especially with the root in the middle. I'm not a fan of this item. I think it really sucks, to be honest. But the one thing I would say that's okay is your root, if it's rank 1, usually if you root ulti, not empowered, they can flash out of your ulti by the time the root ends. But if you root ulti and then use the GLP with the root in the middle, you can extend the root to make sure your ulti hits. So I will say it has that positive, but in general, I don't think this item was designed for NEEKO in mind. And finally, the Rod of Ages, not really that great for NEEKO. The main point of it is it has Omnivamped, and NEEKO doesn't really need the amp, so not the best. Maybe if you were going like an AP on-hit build, this would be okay because you can get the Vamp. Like if you went this into like the new Nashor's Tooth, right? Into like, I don't know, a Wit's End or something. I could see this because of the Omnivamp, but I don't think this item's very good. I don't think you're going to be building this. So let's go into the legendary items. So again, these items each give like something. Like Proto Belt gives each of your other items penetration. This one gives each of them penetration. This one gives them haste, which is the new CDR. So every one of these items you build will be getting those extra stats on each one. So starting off, Death Cap, pretty much the exact same thing as is on live. Do it in the same scenarios. You get about 4th item, 5th item if you just like spike really hard. So that hasn't really changed. Archangel Staff is interesting. I was trying it out because of the fact that if you go Proto Belt, you may have mana issues because you're not getting your mana item. They actually made Tier a starting item now instead of Dorn's Ring or something that you can get. So I tried going Tier start into Proto Belt into Archangel Staff. It was okay and it has good scaling, but the thing about NEEKO is NEEKO, is, as you NEEKO mains know, isn't a scaling champ. She's an early mid-game champ. And it kind of was really noticeable losing the 15 AP off Doran's ring. It was harder to farm. I lost a kill that I missed because of going the tier early. So I really think that you may want to go Proto Belt. If you have mana issues, obviously go Ludens. But I think you might want to just go runes. Like, I really think if you just go, for instance, Comet with like Mana Flow Band and Presence of Mind, I don't think you'll have issues on NEEKO. She's not the most mana hungry champion. But that being said, Archangel Staff is an okay item. Rylai's is the same on live, except the slow has gone from 20 to 30%. This is a nice buff to it, but it's not the greatest on NEEKO, let's be real. NEEKO's W doesn't proc it. NEEKO's root, you're rooted, so it doesn't matter. And NEEKO's alt, you're stunned, so it doesn't matter. So it's only for her Q. Not the best item, wouldn't recommend it. So Horizon Focus, this isn't the greatest again. When you damage an enemy at 750 range or more, you immobilize them, you reveal them, and then you do extra damage to them for 10 seconds. NEEKO is a short range champion, so most of the time you're not going to be able to abuse this very well for the cost. And when you ulti someone, it's like, if you root Q ulti, it's like, sure, maybe it's okay, 10% amp, but I don't think this is the greatest item. I'll have to play around with it more. Obviously, numbers can change. If the range gets brought down from 750 to a bit shorter, it could be really good. But for now, I don't think it's the item is the play for NEEKO. Now, Cosmic Drive seems like a decent item. So first of all, it has HP. NEEKO loves HP. I can see this item being good just because of HP. You go Proto Belt into this, it makes it so that when you deal damage with abilities to the enemy, you get move speed for 4 seconds. So it's basically the passive of Ludens, except you're getting it on this item. So I could see this item being good on NEEKO. Like, if you hit, like, I don't know, you hit them with a root, you get moves, and you ulti, you're getting move speed from this, and you can, like, run at them with the move speed and ulti, or you can, like, Proto Belt in, get the move speed, hit your root, you're getting move speed off that, and you ulti, right? So this item, I played around with it. It feels not bad. I really am a fan of HP on NEEKO. So going with the HP on NEEKO, this item is amazing. Like, honestly, I really believe NEEKO is best when you're building her AP Bruiser-like, and I can really see this item being good, but I think you really would be going Proto Belt into this Demonic Embrace. Like, 90 AP is, like, that's a slap. That's a lot of damage. 350 HP, okay, so we're getting kind of tanky. And then also, when you deal damage to enemies, you're doing percent HP damage, which means it scales well, and you're getting armor and magic resist 20, and then for each extra enemy, an extra 5 armor and magic resist. That means if you go in and hit like a 5-man ulti, for instance, okay, let's say a 3-man ulti, more realistic, right? You're getting 20 8 armor and magic resist, plus an extra 10 from 2 people. So you're getting 30 MR and armor as soon as you hit that ulti. So you have 350 health, 250s, you have 600 HP, and you just got plus 30 MR armor when you hit your ult. Like, you're pretty tanky. Oopsies, this one. So I'm a fan. Lichbane, not a fan. The reason why I'm not a fan of Lichbane on NEEKO is because it builds from Sheen. The way Sheen works is it hits them for an extra base of your base bonus AD. NEEKO has one of the lowest base ADs in the game. Yeah, trying to CS those cannons, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's not pretty trying to CS with NEEKO, and it's because she has low base AD. That makes Sheen actually one of the worst items on NEEKO in the game because she has low base AD, and this is doing damage based on your base AD. So if you're going Lichbane, once it's completed, it no longer is based on your base HD, and it's okay. But the problem is that before you upgrade it, you're getting this Sheen, which is like kind of a waste of your money. So I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's okay. Nashor's Tooth, I've always been a secret fan of Nashor's Tooth on NEEKO. I don't know how I feel about this one, though, to be honest. Like, it has a bit more attack speed and AP, but it used to have 20% CDR on it. Yeah, I really don't know how I feel about this. Like, the 20% CDR was really good. If on-hit NEEKO comes back, which I'll be talking about later, then maybe this will be okay in that, but I don't know. Unless you're going split push NEEKO, you probably won't be building this, because I think it's even worse than live. So Morello's. So interesting about Morello's, by the way, is it builds from an 800 gold Oblivion Orb. This Oblivion Orb gives you grievous wounds for 800 gold. Hallelujah. Not only ADCs now can spend 800 gold and get an executioners for the team, you can do that too as a support or mid laner. So if you're facing, I don't know, I was facing actually on live a game on PBE of Silas, and basically what happened is I literally rushed this first. Like, I got this first, and Silas, when he put his W on me, he's getting healed for 40% less, right? Like, it's kind of insane. So definitely get this. It upgrades into 2 versions. There's the full AP version, and there's like the support version. We'll get to the support version later, but this one is pretty much the same as live. It's like pretty decent. I think it's, again, one of those things where you're just going to leave it as this for most of the game for the Grievous Wounds and only upgrade it later in the game when it's like later. But basically it upgrades to 60% Grievous Wounds when they're low HP and 40% like this one for the rest of the time. So not a bad item. Banshee's Veil, pretty cool. It's 500 gold cheaper, but also has a bit less stats on it. But I'm overall a fan. First of all, it only builds from 2 components, which is huge because it always felt bad getting this really late game for a defensive item. If you only had a couple slots open and you had to use 3 slots to build it, it felt just awful to build, especially on support. Also, it has this new kind of like, you know how on Zanya's you have this thingy with stacking armor and you can just get this first and then upgrade it later? They have the same thing for Banshees now. So you get this first and it gives you 25 AP, 25 magic resist, and every 60 seconds it gets an extra 3 magic resist up to a maximum of 15 magic resist. So if you're facing like an assassin, like for instance that if I was facing that Silas, I could have rushed this in the Oblivion Orb and just been like tanky with reducing his heals, upgraded to a Banshees later. I'm a fan of this new Banshees. I really like it. So Void Staff is like pretty much the same thing. Not much to say about that. If the enemy team's tanky, get it. Zanya's is 400 gold cheaper. So I actually really like this. It's only 10 less AP. Like, take this in. It has the same amount of CDR. Basically, it's 10% ability haste, which is a bit less than CDR. So maybe you're losing 2 or 3 CDR. Same armor and 10 less AP. So you're getting basically 10 less AP and the rest of it's the same for 400 less gold. Pretty good. Plus, don't forget if you have Proto Belt, for instance, you're getting 5 Magic Pen on it. So it's like 400 less gold for 5 Magic Pen and 10 less AP, right? Like, pretty good if you ask me. I'm a big fan of this new Zanya's. You'll be able to rush it faster on NEEKO. Something I'll say is Proto Belt is actually 600 gold more now, but has more stats. But Zanya's is 400 less, so that means when you combine the 2 of them, it's only a net of minus 200 AP gold, which is really nice, especially for the support NEEKO build. So I'm about to go into the support in a sec, so I guess I'll just finish off with the Mage's. So the Mage's is Mage's not good on NEEKO. NEEKO, you run it down in team fights, you're dying. Not good. You don't want to build this ever, really. So one thing about support NEEKO is I don't know how I feel fully about support NEEKO. I made NEEKO support, obviously, so usually you rush Proto Belt first. It's 2,500 gold. You're getting an early spike item. It's super strong. Now it's 3,200 gold, so you're spiking later. But like I said, since Zanya's is cheaper, which is what you get second on NEEKO support, it's like overall the build's only 200 gold more. So it's not too bad, but it's just your first spike is worse. At the same time, I have conflicted feelings because there's the revolver, and usually on live you get the revolver, and if you back with 850 gold, you have to just get the what's it called, the Kindle gem or whatever with the 10% CDR, and you're not really getting more damage. Now if you come back to base after this with 850 gold, you have the option to get more damage. So it's like you have an earlier spike in lane, a later spike for team fighting, and then your second item after that is cheaper. So overall, not too bad. Also note, revolver now doesn't only proc off auto attacks, it procs off all spells. So not bad. Anyways, we're not going to go into these tank items since NEEKO tank is kind of troll. Let's be real. So sorry to all the NEEKO fans out there. NEEKO tank fans. So the support items, obviously I'm a NEEKO support main. We just went over the AP things. Don't forget that with those AP versions, there's also now the new this is for supports to do grievous wounds. So if you're facing like a Soraka Yumi lane or something, you can get the Oblivion Orb in lane really early, get your Proto Belt, and then upgrade this after Proto Belt. Basically, it's giving you CDR, a bit of AP, mana regen, good stuff. And the way the grievous wounds on this works is it has the 40% from this, and the AP version, it's if they're low health, it turns to 60%. How the support version works is if you CC the enemy, it turns into 60%. So if you're just sitting in the backline peeling your ADC, throwing out roots and ultis on the targets diving, you're applying 60% grievous wounds instead. So for 2,300 gold, really cheap, really good item, honestly. Like really, really good AP support item, to be honest. I'm really liking this item a lot. Alright, so the mythic items for support. These are tank ones. I don't think you'll ever build these on support. They're too expensive. So there is 3, and one of them is kind of troll. So there's Shirelia's, which is really good. Honestly, with Proto Belt going up to 3,200 gold, and the fact that this one's mythic passive is it gives 3% move speed for each item you build, I am turning into Shirelia's fan. So first of all, Shirelia's gives 10% move speed. For 800 gold, you can get this 150 health, 7% move speed. This actually I tested gives 1 less move speed. If you back base and you get boots, or you get instead Internal Drive. Internal Drive only gives 1 less move speed than Boots 1. So if you back with 800 gold, right, in live, I would get like Boots and like, right, and an Amp Tome. Instead, you can get this, and you're getting the same amount of move speed as Boots plus 150 HP, so not bad. But yeah, it gives a ton of move speed, like 3% move speed per item. Once you get 3 items done, you're getting 19% increased move speed. Even without Boots and mobility and having Relentless Hunter, I was running on all 4 of NEEKO's lays when she does her running animation. Super cool. Now you might be thinking, but this doesn't give you damage, blah, 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 blah. And you know NEEKO's an AP mage. Well, the cool thing is that if you see the active here, your next 3 attacks deal bonus damage from 60 to 100 per ability hit. So that means if you go in, if you pop Shirelli and hit an EQ auto attack, level 1, if you got this, you're doing 120 extra damage. At level 18, you're doing 300 damage. Like, that's a lot of damage. 300 damage in a combo is quite a lot. Obviously, you're going to do less damage if you got Proto Belt, but I built this item, and at bottom, you could see how much damage it did. At the end of the game, it said I did over 2,000 damage with Shirelias. So, going Shirelias, like, that game, I went Shirelias into the new, the AP support item for this thingy, into a Zanya's. So it's not bad. I'm actually a fan. The move speed is kind of crazy. So there's the new locket. It gives an AoE aura for magic resistant armor. I think it might be a little OP. I'm kind of sad Riot's putting the armor in, the aura. If the enemy team has a bunch of AoE damage dealers, this is definitely a good choice for support NEEKO to go a little bit more tanky. I don't think you can go wrong with this item, honestly, but you're not going to have as much utility because you're not going to be able to get Shirelias or Proto Belt or anything else to supplement this with move speed. So you're kind of not going to be able to like do much outside of this. Maybe you'd have to go like Predator with this, that you still have engage potential. And then finally, there's the Enchanter item. This item's kind of troll. I tried it on NEEKO. It's kind of fun, but since it doesn't heal yourself, only teammates, it's kind of basically worthless. So there's a couple new support items in the legendary slot. There is the Zeki's Convergence. The Zeki's Convergence, I thought it would be really good. Basically, you link it to an ally, and then when you CC something, your ally gets extra damage on that CC target. So I thought, oh, Shireli's into this would be really good. It's kind of worse than live Zeki's, to be honest. The live Zeki's is when you pop ulti, your ADC gets 30% increased damage per auto attack on whoever they auto. This one, they have to be autoing who you CC. So if you're like targeting someone away from your ADC, it gets no value. And the damage isn't even that much. So honestly, I was hoping this was going to be good, but I'm currently not really a fan. So here's the AP Morelos that we're talking about for support. Redemption's like the same thing. Honestly, sleeper OP item on any support, like even NEEKO. Like you can say, oh, NEEKO doesn't use the heal and shield power. Well, realistically, your ulti gives you a shield, right? And you can say the same thing about someone like Thresh. Like Thresh only has his W shield, which he's using once every 15 seconds. And it's not even like, you know what I mean? Like it's giving like, I did the calculations on a Thresh W, it's giving like 20 extra shielding, but no one cries when you build redemption on Thresh. But if you build it on NEEKO and NEEKO's ulti gives her a shield, that's like the same thing as a Thresh W pretty much. You're using it once in a fight. Thresh's W used once or maybe twice in a fight. Right? So like, I don't think you should look at the heal shield power. The AoE healing with 10% of true damage is kind of crazy. Like if you get this with Shirelias and you Shirelias in ulti, put the redemption down for a 10% damage true burn plus healing yourself and any teammates that follow up on your engage. It's not a bad item. So Mikhail is kind of, wait, they just nerfed it. Mikhail's was 30% last time I was on. Wait, Mikhail's has HP now too. Oh my god, what the heck? Okay, Mikhail's honestly was looking like an insane item, and it's looking even more like an insane item right now. So I could see Mikhail's into Shirelias. First of all, Shirelias is just like super good when you get heal and shield power because it increases the redemptions, I mean, right? So the reason why this is kind of insane is read the effect. Before it was remove certain CCs like fears and taunts, it says remove all crowd control debuffs from from allied champions and heal them. Like take that in. Skarner ult, Warwick ult, Malzahar ult, any ultimate that's a suppression, you can break it with this now. So I think this is kind of going to be sleeper OP. Like if you're facing a Skarner, instead of having like 3 people on your team building a Mikhail's, I could see me just building this on NEEKO. Like it sounds troll, but trust me, in Grandmaster Elo, I have played games where I literally went Shirelias into Mikhail's into redemption. And like the current Shirelias has heals shield power, this has heals shield power, and then you'd redemption and it heals like a tank from 0 HP to max HP, and I would just sit back and peel my team. So as troll as it sounds, trust me, removing all CC is always going to be strong. So Knight's Vow honestly is really, really, really bad. I don't like this item at all, to be honest. The old Knight's Vow, even though it got half the effectiveness with range champs, it used to also heal you for the damage your ADC does. Now if you put it on someone, it gives you take damage for your carry, but you no longer get healed for the damage they do. So basically, because NEEKO's super squishy, if you put this on her, you're just gonna be dead. Not a fan of this at all, to be honest. And there's the new Sightstone warding thing. It's kind of insane, to be honest. When you get it, you can hold an extra ward in your regular support item, and you can hold this holds your control wards. You can get it at level 13. I honestly think you're going to just be buying this instantly when you hit 13. Being able to place, you can place more wards too. Like instead of being able to only place 3 wards, you're allowed to place 4 and you can hold 5. Like being able to place 4 wards and 2 control wards is kind of insane. So this item is looking kind of good. I don't think you're going to upgrade it to this version until like the very end of the game though. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. It also gets the effect from like the Shirelia's move speed, which is pretty nice. For only 1,100 gold, you're getting an extra 3% move speed. So anyways, now we're going to be moving on to AD. So I am an AP NEEKO main and a support main at that. So I will say that I'm not the best to be talking about these, so I'm going to brush over it kind of quickly. But basically what I'm going to say is there's 3 options here. There's a proto belt, there's the one that does every 3rd damage does true damage, and then there's this one that gives you the shield for lifesteal. First of all, the shield lifesteal I think is not very good for NEEKO. I don't think he'll ever build it. NEEKO already has an ulti and stealth, so she's got a lot of defensive tools in her kit as an ADC, so you're not going to be doing that. The proto belt I also think is kind of bad on NEEKO. The reason is it's good on support on AP because your ulti does a lot of damage, but in as AD, I found even in teamfights sometimes I get like carried away and I go for a big flash ulti and hit a 5-man stun. It's like, oh wait, my ulti does no damage and now I'm dead when I was like an 80 carry and I do so much damage I stay in the back. So I don't think proto belt is the way to go either. This one gives you every 3 auto attacks you do true damage, which synergizes with the fact that you're already going for 3 auto attacks all the time. And also on top of that, it grants all your other items 10% attack speed, which you want to be getting as many W's off as possible. So I think that this is going to be the option that you go no matter what. So basically now your options, they're pretty much the same. I'm not going to go over again. I'm not like an 80 carry main, but basically everything most stuff gives attack speed and crit. And you basically just want to be probably going this into Runons, because the way Runons works on NEEKO is your 2 side bolts count towards your passive. So in a team fight, if you're hitting 2 people, you can be getting every auto with a W into Infinity Edge, into some sort of lifesteal option. Now, I will say the sad part for NEEKO mains is Blade the Ruined King kind of sucks with this build now, because Blade the Ruined King is a fighter item. You can see it has no crit on it. Every other item in here has crit, even like the lifesteal item. So if you go for the Blade of the Ruined King, you're not getting crit. And this one gives you an extra 8% crit per 20% crit chance you build. So like if you go, for instance, like if you go this, right, the Kraken Slayer into like any of these other options into like Infinity Edge, and then you go for a Blade of the Ruined King, you're losing that 20% crit that you would have got with the Bloodthirster, and then you're losing the 8% on top. So I don't think it's the option. Now, I will say, one cool thing is the Ginsu's Rage Blade. I was testing it. The bug seems to still be there sometimes and not there sometimes. I was auto-attacking with a bunch of attack speed with this item for like a good like 10-15 minutes, and then it would work sometimes and it wouldn't. So I don't know, but it's kind of cool because it basically converts your 20% crit into on-hit magic damage. So since NEEKO, you're not really going for like... you're not really doing like you're not really like a high AD champ. You could end up doing this, to be honest. Like you could go Kraken Slayer into this, into Nashor's Tooth, and then like the 20% crit you got from the 25% crit from this and the 20% from this would turn into on hit damage. And if you were doing that build, you could get this because you don't need crit per se when you're going this. But and there's Wit's End too. Honestly, there is maybe room for an on-hit build. You would have to figure it out, though, because if you did go Kraken Slayer, the 20% crit would be kind of wasted. But, you know, the new Wit's End is looking pretty nice if you're versus an AP lane. Like, you're granted 20% move speed for 2 seconds when you attack someone. So, like, that's kind of nice. But in general, again, I'm not an AD main, so any AD mains, you'll have to go try these out for yourself. These are just, like, my general thoughts. Ginsu's is still sort of bugged, sort of not. And I think you're going to be going for the Kraken Slayer into like, you know, probably Runon's Infinity Edge and Bloodthirster or something like that. But yeah, overall recap, I think that Proto Belt is the best AP item. for mages, I'd probably be going something like the Proto Belt into like this Demonic Embrace into like Azania's to be like ultra tanky and sustainability. For support, I'd either be going an AP build where I go Proto Belt into Zanya's into like the support Morellos, or I'd be going more a utility focused build where I could go the Shirelias. Still, I could go the Shirelias into the AP support item and stuff because it still does good damage. Trust me, it's underrated how much damage. But you could also go like Shirelias into like Redemption and like I don't know this one too. So like there's some options. Kind of. I hope they add more items. To be honest, it's kind of lacking a bit of choices for supports. Like when you think about it, there's like for mages, right? There's so many different types of mages and there's all these items, right? That every mage can use any of these and like go around them, right? Like tanks, all tanks could build different versions of these, right? Like, you know, marksmen, they could all build different, like for supports, when you think about it, there's mage supports, enchanter supports, and tank supports, right? So like there's only one mythic item for each type, so you're basically locked into one. If you're an AP mage, you're probably going Shirelias. If you're a tank, you're probably going Locket. If you're an enchanter, you're going this. So it's like not really options. If you're a tank support, you only really have two tank items here. You have the Zekis and the Knight's Vow as your only two tank options, and they're not even that tanky. So it's like, what, you don't really have a choice. It's sort of like your build is this, this, and this. Like, those are your three items. There's no other choice. If you're an enchanter, it's like this, right? Your Moonstone, your Ardent. Okay, if you're an enchanter, you have a bit. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 options. So realistically, you're only building 3. Oh, and there's the staff that. So enchanters have a few, but for like mages, it's like you literally have the Morellos and this. I guess you could build the mage items, but they're kind of expensive. I don't know. There definitely needs to be some more tank items, realistically. Like Zeki's is kind of like okay tank wise, 30 armor and health, but like the Knight's Vow has no armor on it. It's just health. And then like Thornmail, it's 2,700 gold, right? Like, well, I don't know why this isn't the tank item. Like, look at all the tank items, right? Like, what are we doing with like how? Like, what is a tank support gonna do? I know this is irrelevant to NEEKO, but that's my thoughts. Oh, also, this Abyssal Mask seems pretty good on NEEKO support too, to be honest. It's kind of expensive, but if the enemy team has a bunch of tanks, right? Like, say they have like a Sejuani and like a, I don't know, like they have an Ornn top and like a Leona support. This item seems not bad, to be honest. It's expensive, but it reduces, when you CC enemies, you reduce their armor magic resist by 25%. So that means that like, if you're peeling your ADC with this and you're just rooting the tanks off them, it's pretty effective. But anyways, that was my little thoughts on the new items. I hope you guys enjoyed, and subscribe and check out my YouTube, or you're on the YouTube. Come to my stream. I'd love to meet you guys, and thank you.